Hey guys, coming at you today with a delicious frozen keto treat to beat the summer heat, a keto fudgesicle. So let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to Keto Upgrade. If you're new here, thanks for joining me. My name's Alicia and I'm a sous chef with a sweet tooth. And here we make delicious pastries, many from my time as a pastry chef. My goal is to make the best keto desserts possible. So if you enjoy this content, please consider hitting the subscribe button down there. It all helps my channel grow and to bring you new keto desserts every Saturday. Today we're making fudgesicles. And I was doing some research on this and it clicked in my brain. It came up pudding pops. And all the recipes for regular homemade fudgesicles were basically a pudding recipe. So I already have a pudding recipe. So that's where I started. But I perfected it to make it super creamy and soft texture. It is delicious. It's like you are eating frozen creamy pudding. It is amazing and it's perfect for these hot summer nights. If you watched my pudding video, I'll link it up there for you if you haven't seen it. But I have a cook and serve and an instant. I didn't try it with the instant because most of the fudgesicle recipes I looked up for normal fudgesicles were a cook and serve pudding that you basically froze. The only difference is I left out the heavy cream powder and put in a cup of heavy cream because with 2 cups of almond milk, they were more like ices instead of ice cream, like a fudgesicle consistency. So I have a cup of heavy cream and a cup of almond milk on the stove here. I already weighed out my dry ingredients, which are pretty much the same, except for I took out the heavy cream powder and I did half monk fruit erythritol and half allulose. Can do the original recipe with 1/3 of a cup of the monk fruit, but it's more like your ice creams that you're used to getting from the store. They're very hard, but it still tasted delicious. It was still creamy, but it was a little bit hard. And I wanted like that soft fudgesicle texture or pudding pop texture. So I did half allulose and that kept it nice and soft. So I have all my dry ingredients here. I'm just whisking them together. We're gonna add that into our heavy cream and almond milk. And before we turn that on, because you know this stove is crazy hot and will be done in no time, we gotta bloom our gelatin. 1.5 tablespoons of cold water, and we're gonna bloom our 1 teaspoon of gelatin in there. Now while that's sitting, we can start cooking our pudding. You definitely wanna start with a whisk. Get all your dry ingredients mixed together, and then we're gonna switch to a spatula and just let it come to a boil and thicken. And then the only other thing I added to this is with looking up those regular fudgesicle recipes, a lot of them had regular chocolate and some butter in them. I tried it without it for the first recipe. I just tried my straight pudding and it didn't taste as chocolatey. I realized when you freeze things, the chocolate taste almost gets muted by being cold. So I just added 1 ounce of Lily's semi-sweet chocolate chips and then 1 tablespoon of butter, which that's probably optional. With adding the heavy cream, you get a creamy texture no matter what, but this definitely makes it like a little fudgesicle fat bomb. If you add that 1 tablespoon of butter, it is so creamy and delicious. But you can definitely leave it out if you want to. It'll make it a little bit less calories also. It makes 8 popsicles and they're only 1.6 grams of net carbs per fudgesicle. So it's really low carb, pretty high fat. Okay, now that that's all mixed in, we're gonna save our whisk to whisk our chocolate chips and butter into our pudding. Switch to a spatula and just stir until it starts to bubble around the edges and thicken. As you can see, I already prepared my popsicle molds. The link will be below for these specific ones. I don't know about you, but if you have a French door refrigerator, it's really hard to have the tall popsicles in there because everything kind of lays flat instead of like upright. So I opted for the flat popsicle molds that I can just put on a sheet tray and kind of slide right on the top shelf of my freezer. Because with having my ice cream maker in there, I do not have a lot of stand-up room. But I do like these molds that I bought. They are down in the description box if you want to buy the same ones. They're silicone, Super easy to use, super easy to wash, but you're already ready to go because after this comes off the heat, you're gonna want to pour them right into your molds. They're already starting to get thick. Now there are other things you can add to this. I kept it simple, but adding like a teaspoon of espresso powder would bring out the chocolate flavor a lot. Or I was thinking, I just made the orange poke cake, making orange chocolate fudgesicles. Adding like a tablespoon of orange extract to this, or peppermint extract to make like a chocolate peppermint. There's a lot you can add to this. Favorite flavor, or I have strawberry extract. Oh, chocolate covered strawberry fudgesicles. I'm sure I'll be making many variations of this, and ice cream bars. This has come to a boil. You can see the edges are rolling. So turn off your heat, add in your gelatin. Let that dissolve. And again, I forgot my pot holder. They hang by the stove, which is where I usually work. So once that's dissolved, which it doesn't take long because it's boiling, you pour it over your chocolate chips and your butter. Get it all in there. It doesn't take long. Doesn't add any extra carbs either if you use the semi-sweet. You can use any chocolate chips you want, even do like the salted caramel chocolate chips or something like that. Oh, that'd be good. But that does add some carbs. Once everything is melted, get rid of your whisk and go back to your spatula because you want to scrape everything out of this into your mold. And then I don't fill them up completely because then you won't get an even 8. But as soon as it hits the very bottom of the popsicle, and then you can go a little bit more than that. Pretty much like 1/8 of an inch from the top of the mold. Almost to the very top. So they start forming that skin right away. Now if you don't want the pudding skin, at this point you can cover them with a piece of plastic wrap, but I kind of like the skin on it. It like kind of like melts off the fudgesicle and you still get the pudding skin taste. It's pretty great. But you can put plastic wrap over each one of these if you'd like. But these gotta chill for, I've only ever done it for like over 8 hours when I go to work. I would say just do these the night before and then wake up in the morning and you'll have fudgesicles. I'm excited to have 8 more fudgesicles. The hardest part about this recipe is waiting for those to get solid. But I have my 2 test batches that I did already in Ziploc bags ready to go. So there's 2 things you can do. You can either just put them in a Ziploc if they're not gonna last you very long, which they probably won't. If you think they're gonna last a while, you can wrap each one individually in plastic wrap. So these are the half allulose fudgesicles. They look perfect, delicious. And then the monk fruit ones, this was with 1/3 cup of powdered monk fruit. This is the all monk fruit. It made a little weird design on the back. It kind of looks cool, but these ones are a lot harder than the allulose ones. Half and half allulose made it like the perfect fudgesicle consistency. Put these back in the freezer so they don't melt. I'm gonna take a little slice of each one and kind of show you the texture of them. So this one's already melting. It's like a pudding consistency. And like it melts like pudding. And the monk fruit one is gonna be even harder. Kind of like, woo, our keto ice creams. If you take them right out of the freezer and try and dig in, it's almost impossible. You gotta wait at least 10-15 minutes. But these start melting pretty fast. But you can also bite them and chew them, and they're still delicious. I'm still definitely gonna eat these. These ones take a little bit longer to melt. See, the pudding skin is like coming off of this one. It's sweet, creamy, nice and cold for these 80-degree days we're having. When I came home and tried this for the first time, I was like, oh my God, these are the perfect fudgesicle or pudding pop, if you remember those from when you were younger. I vaguely remember them, and I mostly remember the commercials. So good. So much softer than the other one. The thing I like about fudgesicles is it takes you a while to eat. I'm one of those people that likes to like savor and like eat my stuff as slow as possible. These are the perfect treat for me. They take a while to eat and they're only 1.6 grams of net carbs. I hope you guys make this recipe for yourself. It is so delicious, perfect for summertime. I was actually debating on doing a double batch today because I was like, 16 of them instead of 8. I do have 4 molds, so I was thinking about it. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite summer treat is. I know I'm definitely gonna be coming out with many more keto summer treats. Don't forget to check out my Amazon links and my blog link in the description box below. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And as always, I'll be back with many more keto dessert recipes. Bye guys.